Peter Schiff is back on the air.
I'm reading Paul Krugman's latest column, and, I can't help but think that he's writing to me personally, although he doesn't mention my name. He rarely does. But here's how he ends his article. This is the last paragraph. He's writing about bubbles, right? And he acknowledges that bubbles are bad. It's just that he doesn't think that there are any today. I mean, he doesn't detect any bubbles. But listen to how he ends his piece. He says, for one important subtext of all the recent bubble rhetoric is the demand that Mr. Bernanke and his colleagues stop trying to fight mass unemployment, and that they must cease and desist their efforts to boost the economy, or dire consequences will follow. Yes, dire consequences will follow. But I want him to cease his efforts to boost employment because I know that it won't work. It won't boost employment. It hasn't, and it won't. It will boost inflation. It will more destabilize our economy, create bubbles, and lead to a catastrophe. But the reason I want him to stop with respect to employment is we're not going to create any meaningful jobs until he stops. But Paul Krugman just believes that the secret to creating jobs and growth is to print money. That's what he believes. He's got a PhD. He studied economics. He's got a Nobel Prize. I mean, any little kid, if that's all it takes, why do you need to study? Just print money. That's the answer to everything. Print money, print money, print money, right? If it's that simple. But listen to the rest of this, what he says. In fact, however, there isn't any case for believing that we face a broad bubble problem, let alone worrying about hypothetical bubbles, should take precedence over the task of getting Americans back to work. Mr. Bernanke should brush aside the babbling barons of bubbleism and get on with doing his job, right? So don't worry about all the naysayers. Just keep printing money. That's your job. Keep printing, keep buying bonds, keep buying mortgages, and somehow that's how we're going to put Americans back to work. Yeah, maybe cleaning up the mess eventually. Maybe we're going to put Americans back to work, making wheelbarrows so we can haul around all of our money. But people aren't going to be put back to work productively as a result of any of this nonsense. And how can one man be so utterly blind and ignorant about a subject that he has devoted his entire life to studying and where he has a Nobel Prize? He sets a new low in economic ignorance every time he writes another column.